a program that I use quite a bit recently is called KineMaster. There it is there. KineMaster is a video editing software, and I use it on my phone because it's faster on my phone than it is on my computer. Well, video editing, it's faster on my phone than it is on my computer. As you can see, I've got a lot of projects there, but I'll just show you one of the problems I have with it, and it's a problem not just with KineMaster, but it's a problem with all things to do with phones, it would seem. I'll create a new project, and I'll tell I'm going to do a 16:9 ratio, and when I do that, I'll say next. This is the problem I have with it. When it first comes up, we have a situation where you go into a media browser. I can not do that. I can just select something. I'll just select a camera there, and I'll select a still shot. I don't know, any still shot. The one that I just did before. And what you do is just select photos or videos and put it down on the timeline, which is down the bottom here, right? Okay. And the big problem I have with it is whenever I open media, by the way, I'll just accept that. I'll just think, how do I accept that? Right, just do that. Let's accept it. That's it. And then if I wanted, I can play a video of it. It's playing a video of just that still shot, right? And then I can create out of videos, etc. Right. The way I use it is via this little device here. And when you normally go to media, you go to media, and it comes up with that same screen. Now the problem with this is it's like a little bit like a bit of a file manager. It's called a media browser there. But when it comes up with this listing, it doesn't just show me the listing of that I'm used to in terms of files. What it does is shows me each folder that has some sort of the media in it. That media being either photos or videos. In fact, if I touch up here somewhere, I can change it to videos only. If I touch there, I can change it to photos only, I think, right? And then I can, go into a particular photo and add it to my timeline, right? Do various other ones, I've done them there, right? And they become part of my video. The trouble with it is, though, that it doesn't show it, when you show it, it doesn't actually show you folders or doesn't show groups of folders. For example, I have a folder called AAA, which I keep all my things in. It could be AAA, whatever. And it doesn't show me that folder and therefore the subfolders of that folders and then subfolders of those folders, as in the traditional way you do things on programs. What it does, it shows me every single folder, even though it might be multiple levels down, in that contains either videos or photos. So if I just go into that again, right, there we are, I've got one called camera. Notice there's two for camera, one there and one there. How can I have two? One's on the SD card and one's on the phone's memory, right? Over here, notice I've got this folder called AAA, and I've got subfolders under that. If I go into that folder, it's not going to show me the subfolders under that folder. If I want to see those subfolders, I've got to go back there and look for them. I happen to know this is some of them here. I'm looking for one, I can't find it. All right, there's one called Other. Right, I've got a folder, a subfolder called Other. Right, well, that's not the way I'm used to using things. And also the other thing is, if I just go back one level, right, go back to that original folder, it gives me, in that case, it gives me the names of the folders, but it won't give me the names of each of the files that are in the folders, right? And the other thing is it doesn't do, what order are these in? So that's AZ screen recorder. Well, I'll just go back one, sorry. That one's AZ screen recorder. That one's camera. That one's camera. That's Auto Boy. Okay, and by the way, these seem to be in order, some sort of order at the moment. But usually they're not in alphabetical order. A, B, C, S, and then we go back to A's again, right? So even though, oops, let's just go to the media again. There's A, C, C, A, S, A, right, went into it, didn't mean to, C, C, A, They're all over the place, and I can't work out what order they're in. I think it's just the order at which it goes through and picks them up. Now, I've looked up the help with this program, right, which is called, as I said, KinMaster. That's it there, KinMaster. And it says it puts them in the order of your gallery. So I've looked up gallery programs, and let's see, I've got some gallery programs here. There's one gallery program. Google Photos, which is a gallery program. I don't know what order that puts things in. I can change the order, whatever, right? I've looked up on other ones. Let's have a look. I've got A+ Gallery, right? And that comes up in this particular order, all right? Camera, Places, Camera, AZ, etc. And I think if I go to this particular one, I can change the order of them. Let's have a look. Change the order. Settings, no. I can sort it, no. Restore grid, okay. Do that. You can have it date ascending or date descending. Name ascending or name descending. But if I chose it in this, it doesn't necessarily change it in KinMaster. Right, so if I can make it in name order rather than date order, I'll do that. Name order, right? And that's in name order. So it's CCP. Well, why is the C's coming before the numbers? Numbers usually come before C's. And they've got numbers again. So even though this, I don't know what order this is in. I'd say it's in date order, but perhaps it's not. I'm not sure. Camera and camera. CC comes before, then P, then numbers. And what order is it in? I don't know. So all I'm saying is I have trouble in understanding how this all works. So rather than doing that, I'd like to propose a way that it should work, right? A program like this should work, a program like any program that has access to files should work the same as any other program. So to give an example where I do this sort of thing, if I'm using my web browser, which is a program, this is a Google program, and what I want to do, I go into my own website, which I'll do in here, Jeff. I go to my website, call it up, right, and I'll go to a particular page, how I do training, training material, non-training material. I've got a whole page here of non-training material, right? And I actually want to add something new to it. For example, I want to add a picture to it, right? I want to add a picture to it, right? So with this particular, it's called a wiki. If I want to add a picture, I need to edit it. So I'm going to edit that particular page. Comes up with a text screen. I want to add a picture to it there. So what I can do, somewhere at the top here, where am I? There we are. There's an icon for adding a picture. That one there. I'm going to add a picture. Right? And it comes up with this media browser, right? Media files. Similar sort of thing to AZ Screen Recorder. And down the left-hand side, it's got all my folders. And over here, I can upload files. But these are stuff that's already on my web server. If I actually want to select a file, I can press Select Files there. And when I do that, it opens up another application. One of the applications is Capture Images, right? Complete an action, a sound recorder, or this one here for files, right? I go to the one for files, which I didn't do, I'll do that again, sorry. I do the one for files. And then it opens up a file manager, right? This particular one, recent files, right? I don't want to do that. I then can go, rather than file manager, I can go to that menu and look at only images, videos, audios, a little bit like I had before, but one of the things it does is give me the ability to go to any other the file managers that are available. For example, one called File Manager, and one that I use all the time, CX File Explorer, which is a file manager. This is a little bit like being in Microsoft a particular program on a PC, and then going to an open dialog box, and the open dialog box opens Windows Explorer. So there we are. So there's my main storage. I can go to main storage. I can go to, AAA, right, where I've got things. I can go to those years that I want things. I can go to those individual photos and choose them. So if I did that one and selected it, that's it. And I can select multiples of them if necessary, and press the select button at the bottom. It then goes back, and then those things are the selected files. So if I process that, it would actually upload those files to my web browser and put it on. So if this program, which is basically Google Chrome, can do it that way, why can't KineMaster do it the same sort of way? I don't know. I'm finding nowadays there's lots of programs, lots of apps that you get on phones, and they'll save information, or they give you the ability to call up information, but they'll have it in their own way of doing things. In other words, not the traditional standard way of doing things with files and folders. So that's my gripe. That's my gripe. I don't know how it's done. And by the way, another little side issue with this, I thought, well, how do files and pictures and that actually work? How do you actually get it to go to look up files, and how do you actually get to, how does a picture system work? For example, AZ Gallery. How does it work? How does it decide which things to show you and how to show you? And I tried looking that up, and I couldn't find anything there. I actually went to a programming site, and they said, another person asked the question, but rather than asking the question, he said, how do I get the source code for any gallery program, Google Gallery, or the gallery that comes with Android phones? And people had trouble actually finding that out. So what this guy is saying is the only way to find out what he wanted to find out was to actually read the source code of the program. Now, most people don't read source codes of programs, so they can't even, the average person can't find out that way. Another way would be if the program was documented properly. So I looked up program documentation. So if I go into Google there, and I type in program or programs documentation, program document. Documentation. Do I even document? That's close enough. I'll leave that site. So looking up data and documentation. Anyway, I can't find software documentation. All right. Wikipedia on software documentation. And one of the things I found about the Wikipedia article about software documentation, when it comes up, if it comes up. Yeah. Oh yeah. Requirements documentation, technical documentation, user documentation, marketing documentation also. And then one of the things talk about documentation, agile software development. The agile software development is basically software development that has each part of it can be done without having to reinvent the wheel every single time. But it says the situation is particularly prevalent in agile software development because these methodologies try to avoid any unnecessary activity that do not directly bring value. Specifically, Agile Manifesto advocates valuing working software over comprehensive documentation, which could be interpreted cynically as we want to spend our time coding. Remember, real programmers don't write documentation. So that seems to be the problem nowadays. We have a situation where it's impossible to find out, or almost impossible to find out how software works because people don't document their software. And when they don't document their software, you can't look up how to do it. The only way to find out how to do it is actually get the source code, if you're able to do that, of the program, and work out yourself how the program works. And that seems to be a big problem in the computer industry, right? That things happen, we don't know why they happen, it's not documented anywhere, and you can't find out. So that's my beef about software development, software, in this particular case, file managers on Android systems that don't do things the way end users want to do them. And the other thing is, I suppose another problem with it is that end users have a situation where they don't know anything about the software and they just think this is the standard way of doing things, especially the newer generation of people. They don't realise there was a better way in the past and they're not being told about it. Okay, got any questions about it, drop me an email. Other than that, goodbye.